Alright, let's figure out what we want to do today. I'm going to try something. I might use that same failed canvas. I'm going to say failed canvas. I know that's mean. That same canvas that didn't work out so well. I might use that one again. I want to see. Pry it loose. There we go. Now this is totally my fault. You know how I scraped this canvas off? I forgot the way these things dry. So I'm thinking I should leave this one as the... Oh, hey, Dan! You know, I've been okay. I kind of seem to have a teeny bit of a relapse with, you know, the plague. But if you don't count that, everything's been fine. Not too bad, just a little bit off. But I got some, when I used to have that problem with the inflammation from when I had the allergies from resin. So from that, I knew to take, I started taking this natural supplement called quercetin and bromelain. And that was the only thing that really got me through that. So I got more of that, and I swear it got delivered today, because, you know, I have to grudgingly say Amazon has its uses. And I took it a few hours ago, and I swear I already feel better. The regular antihistamines I had problems with. One of them made me throw up, and the other one made me gain weight. Neither of those things were something I wanted to have happen. So I came out. I don't think you were here to see my failure on this canvas, but oh my God, I just could not do anything with it. And so finally I scraped it off, but then I went the wrong direction. So now it's anyway. I wanted to try a different sort of experiment anyway with this spatula. So I thought, well, I've already wrecked this canvas once. Let's wreck it again. Fun, fun. And how have you been? Everything going good? Any exciting adventures this weekend? Just get rid of those. Now, hey, yes, exactly. So I need to cover this up as quickly as possible. I think I'm doing something that kind of matched my shirt. Why not, right? I just mixed a bunch of these colors. So I'm thinking, we got this color, we got that, check. So I'm going to try this spatula and see if I like that effect better for swiping on sky than I do the other swipers we've been using. Fortunately, I came out here and just mixed a whole bunch more paint. Plenty of paint. No end of paint. So we can just keep scraping this guy off and redoing them. So normally I do these canvases the other orientation, as you guys know. But because it dried streaky this way, I was afraid it would show through. So I thought I should just do something where it can be this way, and then it doesn't matter. All right, and then if I'm going to stick with this plan, we'll need a little of this magenta. And what else has it got here? It's got lavender. Don't know that I have lavender per se. I have a tiny bit of this. I've got that bluish lavender. Ooh, not much of that. You know, it's always the way. I come out here and I mix all this paint, and then the very first thing I go to use, I'll pick it up and there'll be nothing there. It happens to me constantly. And yet I never learn. Oh, Stephen Wright was so funny. All right, well, let's try this. You know, since I'm going to use the spatula anyway, let's go ahead and get rid of the air bubbles, because it won't matter if it does that white dot thing at this point. It can dot away. Now, something just fell in there. I don't know if that came off the spatula or, you know, it might have come off one of the bottles. Looks like there's some debris or something. I can tell this is already off to a good start. Oh, okay. What was I going to say? Oh, I did have a big triumph though, Dan. I figured out how to use the delayed start on my oven. So yay. I was going to make a baked potato, but I wanted to go for a walk and I didn't want to have to come back. So I thought I will try this thing called delayed start. Took me a little while to figure it out, but I succeeded. And when I got home from my walk, that potato had started baking. So I'm very pleased with myself. All right, let's go ahead here. I'm going to try this and see if that, oh, let's move everything to one side though, huh? So I wanted to see if this gave this a slightly different effect than the other swiper does, you know, than the plastic does. I'm not sure I'm liking it. Oh boy, and I keep hitting things, keep hitting stuff right and left. Might need to turn it the other way. That certainly makes a big, yeah, I keep, you know, I can tell this is the sort of thing like, you know, when you have a pool table in your house and you need a lot of room. This is like that. The reason I use that analogy is my dad always wanted a pool table. And when we moved to Santa Clara, we moved to a much bigger house. But the way it was, even though there was more square footage and everything, there wasn't a room where he could do a pool table. The way the wall, you know, he would have had to take out walls and stuff. So that's why I use the analogy of, you need room, like, you know, if you wanted a pool table, you have to have that room for the, you know, to work the cue. This is the same way. You know, I will say it's got a slightly different look to it than the other type of swiper. Than the plastic does. Probably still needs quite a bit of tilting. And the other thing it needs, let's just get rid of this all the way down here. Okay, that's sticking up there. That's a disaster waiting to happen. But we'll just let it go and let it happen. This I'm not pleased with that came up there. I don't want that there. Okay, I'm going to tilt this now. See if we can get it stable and into something we like. I like this concept of matching my apparel. Maybe I'll do that. And do that more often for picking my palette. Whatever fits my apparel that day. This is a little bit gooier. I wonder if my paint was a little thicker. Yeah, I'm not sure I quite like the way this is going. Not terrible. I'm not sure I'm quite digging it. I'm going to use a 60s term since I'm wearing tie-dye. Let's try. Let's see if we can just, what happens if you just can do little bits with this. Like not all the way across. Like I'm wondering if that will make things look a little like clouds more. If we just repair sections. I want it to stay nice and marbled the way it is. Oh, I sold a painting today, Dan. It's one with a big tree and a little red fox sitting next to the big tree. It's someone who's bought a painting from me before, so that's nice. Takes all the stress out when someone's bought from you before, because you know they know what they're getting. Okay, I'm just going to come down here. Try and give it a little more oomph. Okay, not that way oomph. Okay, this part here, it's just where it comes to the edge here. It's I think this paint might be a little thicker, which is funny because I thought if anything I mixed that white too thin, but now I'm wondering if it's too thick. I wonder if I want to do just a little bit of blowing for clouds. I'm going to try that with the small blower. Let's try it. should have untangled first. Just maybe little bits here and there for clouds. Let's try it. Not sure that quite did what I wanted. Oh, that's kind of pretty though. I can come back in with that spatula if I do anything too terrible. Okay, it's not too bad. I want it to have a slightly, I'm going to see if I can give it a slightly cloudier look, and if not, then I'll use that swiper again. I like the idea of catching some of those lighter colors and sort of bringing them out. I don't want too much hills and valleys in there, so I'm gonna remove it again. Not sure that that works as well for me. Let me try that again. I'm not sure I like the effect overall, but I quite like it in places in it. Unfortunately, I like it near the top. Near the top, I think it's looking good. Down here, not so much. So let's think how we can fix that and why that might be. We'll put on our little thinking caps. I think I'm going to add some whites, just some variety in here. This just looks really boring to me. Oh yeah, it was so new that it was still in the box that's in my rec room. What my system is I keep the boxes, boxes and boxes and boxes of paintings in my spare room. And but before that, when I'm filling up the boxes, they're in the rec room. And then when I finish the box, I close it up and I move it to the other room. Well, this one was still in that room. So that's how much, how recent it was. I'm going to add just a drop of this golden color in here. It should be fine. There's nothing to go green in there. That's the only thing you worry about. So I'm going to still stick with this guy because, you know, I'm stubborn that way. Once I start something, I stick with it. Then it always ends in tears, but I do it anyway. That's how I'm wired. Okay. Well, that created some separation in a way that I don't mind. Try to get some of those air bubbles out. If I want to go to another implement for a bit, I might. Oop. It's a little bit there. Oh, there's something, a whole lot of funkiness going on right here. Let's see if we can fix that. Well, this thing is going to be the curse of my existence, I can tell you right now. I'm going to be regretting that choice of underlying thing. We'll just do a little bit of tilting here, just a little bit back, forth, into center. See what we can do there. I had to cheat over using the colors on my top, but you know, I think that little bit of gold color is good. It's got some air bubbles, and I'm trying to work them out. I don't want to have to deal too much with that. All right, are we happier now? Sometimes that gets rid of air bubbles as well. It's a multifaceted thing there. All right. Okay, I'm not minding it. I'll tell you, I minded a lot less than what we started with. Now this must go. Everything must go down here. All right, now, but I want a lighter section in here. And for this, I am absolutely going to cheat on this concept and use yellows. I'll tell you that right now. And we're going to mix them in. It's going to be glorious. And we're going to be in awe of its beauty, of its great beauty. That's my view of this. There we go. Let's just bring that all the way across. Whoop. Let's bump into everything we have to. Just keep bumping into stuff, right and left. This makes it so much fun. I'm going to turn it and come down this way so that we can get a nice straight swipe down here. As straight as I've got my hand. Oh, wow. You know, though, I like it. We have redeemed ourselves from yesterday. I'm just going to try and move this just a little bit, just enough to mix it in there together. Okie doke. There we go. I'm going to use this to try and get out of the air bubbles that are down here near the bottom. That is not bad, and I think it's going to dry pretty. So our next thing is I just want to do something simple down here. Originally, I assumed I'd do a seascape. Just did. So I'm still thinking that. Just with, like, you know, just not much water, but just some sort of a simple little seascape. We could still put a bluff there, but I left it all empty so we can think about it. We could even put like some lighter bits down in here, just to give me some idea of where I'm going and what I'm doing. Can't quite come over here. I just need a little more paint over there. Actually, we could just put the bluff on that side. That would work just as well. So, do we think bluff, ocean? Is that what we think would make us happy? Actually, it looks like the concentration of yellow is more here, so I should probably do the yellow or just along in there even. Okay. Now for down here, let's get the dark color. Oh, yes. Yeah, I was just really off my game, man. That was just a bad day. I bore up well, Dan. I'm a professional, but wow. But between the two of us, that was a day. Whew. Don't want to have too many more days like that again, I can tell you that. I absolutely do not. A little more of this in here. Touches of that in there. I want to see. I don't know if the spatula is the best tool for that, but just bring this up here to make this sort of bluffy-like thing. Had a stray dot just escape there. I'm going to have to do something about that. Oh, you know, that works surprisingly well. I should get more tools like this. Okay, let's just sort of move this around in here. Nope. Probably need to go higher for the bluff because of where that water line is. But now that I know this does this so nicely, we can do that. Kind of fades into nothing there. Huh. Yeah, I do think this is working better than the other swipers. Well, for this app, everything has its reasons. For this application. I know I like to get right back out here though, if something went wrong. I don't like to let it sit for too long, and then I get intimidated. Don't want to try it again because I'm feeling intimidated and like, oh my god, you know. So let's see. I'm gonna just turn the canvas itself. That might be easier. I want to get a little bit more of a softer line between these two, so I'm going to try and just pull that. I might need to put on more paint, but for now I'm going to try and just, oh, yep, that's not doing that at all. Alright, that didn't work quite the way I wanted. Left side did, but this side not so much. Let's try that again. Just try it like that. Boy, I do not have a steady hand. I'll tell you guys that. This is just between us. My hand is not steady. Never has been. I got one of those sticks. They have these sticks called a maul stick for people that, you know, don't have, oh boy, that's really bad. That don't have a steady hand, but I couldn't get the hang of that either. Wouldn't work for this poor painting. Let's try, actually that's a little light on paint. Might want to put more paint down there, actually. Put a little more white paint there. That failed attempt is starting to come back to haunt me there. I'll just mix that right in there with this. Okay. Let's try this again. And let's just try moving this part down here. Wow. I do that with my mother, Dan. You know. My mother is not that old, but she has health issues, and she isn't all there anymore. So yeah, sometimes you feel like it's just kinder to just, you know, go with whatever it is they think is happening and go, yep, that boy, yeah, that's it. I'm going to try it this way with this other swiper and then come back in with the other one, see what we can do. And then with this one, I mean, when she was better, you know, I used to correct her in that, but now I just, you know, and no matter how many times she asks me the same question, I just answer it again. I think what it is, she doesn't want to get off the phone, but she doesn't know what to say, so she keeps asking me the same questions over and over again. So I just answer them. Steve was real impressed one day. He was here when I was on the, normally he's not here when I was on the phone, but he was amazed at my patience there, but it's like, well, what are you going to do? I will say though, I have to psych myself up into it. It isn't easy, you know. I kind of like that transition. It's almost there. little bit more white paint. Right in the middle here. Got a little low. What happens is if it gets too low, that underpainting starts showing through, which isn't that big a deal. At least it goes the same way. Yes, it's funny what gets in their minds, you know. What they sit and think about, I guess. All right, let's see how we're doing. Oh gosh, that has so many air bubbles. Let me see if I can blow those back out. And there's a funky little thing here. Boy, take your eye off these things for a minute and they start having a mind of their own, these things. I don't want to mix the yellow and the purple too much because they'll go gray. They're complementary colors and they have a lot of energy together, but they also don't play nice together in some respects. So I want to get a nice horizon line here. I tell you, I think the hardest thing in the world with this paint is a straight line. It's nicer if you can do a transition on it. You know, where it kind of subtly transitions from one thing to the other. Now, does that look enough like a cloud that I can get away with it? Or do I need to mix that a little more? What happens too, you know, as you guys know, as the paint starts evaporating, it starts getting harder to work with. It starts getting, what do I usually call it, gooey? Usually it starts getting gooey after a while. Let's see if that will work there. What I was thinking was, I like the way that worked. It's not quite where it should be, but and this maybe needs a little bit more color to it. But it's funny, that spatula, it starts sticking to it. So it's like you pick it up, it's like, makes a suckerfish sort of noise. I want to make that a little darker yet. Let's just get this covered up here for a minute. Well, you know what we could do on this? We could do that where I do that zigzaggy thing. We could try that. That might be interesting on this for the water. A little change, a little subtle change there. I want there to be a little more variety between the land area and the water. Put some darker paint in there. I hope nobody was saying, I just suddenly realized I was so zoned out there for a second. But I'm almost out of indigo again. I use indigo a lot. I might put a little down in there. I think I'll use a little actual black too. Just from underneath here. That a little darker too. A little darker, a little thicker. So even though it's the ocean underneath the bluff here, it would be a little darker. It's getting a little too thin. Okay. Then what I want to do is get some light areas in here, probably right around here. Let's get those yellows back. Oh! And a touch of this gold. That sky's a little bit busy. I hope it dries nice, but I'm willing to see what happens with it. You know what we'll do? Put a little of this pastel yellow in here. That can do some interesting things sometimes. Let's add a little of that in there. Oh, sure I wanted it quite there, but it's there now. Just a dot or two of the magenta. There's very little here in that water. Give it some variety in there. Okay. And let's see. Now, oh, I was thinking of doing that squiggly thing. Let's try that one time. If it doesn't work, it doesn't work. I think sometimes I did more of a paper towel-y thing with this. But let's try it one time with this and see what we think. Let's put a little out here, particularly up in here. Get a little more in there. Okay. This we'll have to do something about. I kind of like that. Doesn't make any sense really, but I kind of like it. Now, did we take up too much paint near the top there? See, the only trouble with this is that sometimes I take a little off near the top. I kind of like it though. It does, Stan. It will move a little smoother because it's got that extra layer of paint. So actually that is an advantage to it, is you do get that slightly more thing. Now I like that, but I'm not sure I can get that off. I like what's on here, but I want to see if I could drop that onto there. I'm not sure if it'll come off or stay on here. It's not too bad. I'd like to do something, just a little layer. Let's see if I can do something. Maybe we'll use one of these. Or the spatula. I use the spatula. If I did something, a little line of paint on the spatula, we can try that. I'd like to maybe get a tiny bit of lighter paint, just right at the top, right where these two things meet. Seems like that should be a little bit lighter right here. Let's see if we can do that with that, huh? Looks a little messy. I might use a stick or something. And that's giving me a little bit better line there. Some of this really dark purple. I'm going to put that right underneath this where that bluff comes in. We might even put a little bit of the light in there. Just we could do that with that. Mine too, you Mert. I used to call this my purple Twilight palette. The yellows and the purples and just that little bit of magenta. Normally it's got a little more orange in it. Usually the magenta and the yellow work together. They'll make a nice orange, but I didn't get so much of that in this one. I'm not sure what I just did just that last second there. What my thought process was, if any. Okay. Not sure if I could get, I thought I might be able to get a little bit of a wave look going with the pastel yellow, like the foam breaking near the bluff here. I think I'd like to do a little bit more with that bluff. I'm not sure what exactly. Maybe even wait till it dries. I feel like it doesn't have quite the character I'd like to see in it. Maybe use it like a shovel or something and get some interesting tones and things in there. Even use like the spoon or something. Let's do a little everything today. Let's try that. I'll put a little black in there. I feel like my purple isn't quite dark enough for what I want. Let's see what we've got in there. And then again, it doesn't have any of the magenta or any of the yellows. Let's get this going first. Let's try this, and then I think I'm probably going to try and add some yellows too to it. If we can move that too. I don't know how thick the paint is here, if we can move it. I don't want to destroy everything else in my path. Okay, I think I might be destroying that too much, but we got a little movement there. Let's see if we can just sort of drag this over to here. What I wanted was for our bluff to have a little bit more character to it. It was just sort of a little bit of a blob there rather than a bluff. So I wanted to see if we added a little bit more paint, if we could get a little bit more interesting stuff going there. I like that one being like maybe a separate layer in the background there. So that works for me. I get the blower out too. Now that went a little flatter. Let's see. I have a separate swiper. I swear I had one more out here. What time is it? Oh, 5:30. Good. We're still doing good. Where did I just see? Oh, over there. That's what I wanted. Wasn't sure how much paint was left on here. I thought I'd give it a try. See what was left on here, and we use everything. We use everything we've got. If it's here, it's going to be used. That's how we roll around here. Well, that's got more interest to it, and it looks different. It looks different than the water, so I like that. I'd still like to get maybe just a touch of this yellow or gold or something kind of reflected on there from the light up there. Just not that much, just a tiny bit here and there. We can manage that. Let's see. I wonder if that spoon, if I could just sort of pop it on there. Not sure that quite works for me. Let me try the blower. Not quite doing what I want. What else were we using? We're using a spatula. Let's try that again. That's our tool for today, is the spatula. Okay, and then I also noticed that up here near the top here, there's a couple places where I am seeing white paint, and I should not be. Not up here. Up here it should look all pretty dark. Just dark purples and nothing else up here. So I'm just going to try and patch that in there. Okay, no, I think it needs a tiny bit. Let me see if I've got a tiny bit more underneath here. Okay, we can just put some on the spatula itself if we need to. Okay, I want to just get it up here on the top. There's just a little row here where it doesn't look like dark purple. It looks like something else, and it should look like just dark purple. Ah, darn it, I have white on it. Not going to get me where I need to go. So it's okay if it has the white, as long as it looks like it belongs there, like a cloud or something. I'm glad, Dan. Yes, there's no beach in this one. You're just seeing the water. That's all you're seeing on this guy. No land on this one. No foam, no beach. I like these weird sort of little, that looks like a little rock there, doesn't it? Like a little rock just formed. And this one looks like a wave coming in and crashing. Like if you put just a tiny little line there, that could be like water coming in there. Let's see if let's test out this theory. So I'm thinking if you put a little bit of, just right in here, a little bit of line in there, and maybe glue that out. Could get sort of a wavy look to that. Sort of, I kind of keep putting it in there and losing it. It must be very thick there. You can see a little, well, I don't know if you can see it with all the glare and stuff. There's like a little rock there or something. All right, let me put this back where where it looks a little more centered. Okay. Now what are we thinking? I'm still thinking I'm not as happy with that bluff as I might be. Let me try. I want to try some other color in there. I'm going to go more, I'm just going to get this lavendery sort of color. I want to get more variety in there than what it's got. It can make sense later, but for now I just want it to I don't want it to look like a big glob of color. I want it to look like, it's got interesting things going on there. Now I'm not sure, let's see here, I'm not sure about this transition here. I know what I was thinking at the time, but I'm not sure. I think it might be a little light on paint right here. Where that meets the, it's better. This should be a little more. I'm not sure about that. We don't want to add just a tiny bit more paint just right in those areas. It looks almost like it needs like a straight across line there that's a little lighter. I might try that. I really like the way that rock appeared there. I'm wondering if I want to try and put more in there. Or just figure that was such a gift, we'll just leave it. I still want to add a little fire or something to this bluff. I don't want to mix it in. I don't want to lighten it, but I want to give it just more interesting things going on within it. It's just a little boring. Can't have a boring bluff. Goodness. Okay. The only thing, as I said, I'm not real happy still with that transition. We could try and fix it in, I'm going to say post-op later on. Yes! That's a good thought, Dan. I mean, this was coming down a little more, and then I kind of messed it up a little bit with the foam. Just try and put it back where it was. Okay. Now for the tricky bit here. Let me turn this way. And let's see if we think we could just bring something down there. Well, the logical color would be this light yellow. We'll put it off to the side though. I'm not going to try and put that right in there. We could try it with the spatula again. I'm not sure. It's a new thing for me, so I'm not as apt with it. But let's try it and see. we can get a little bit more paint. The paint got a little too thin there, where I kind of drew that horizon line in, which, you know, I don't regret doing, but the problem is where I drew it, there's no paint at all now. I mean, I guess there's always paint, because there's going to be the underlying paint on this particular guy. But you guys know what I'm saying. I just want to see if I could patch some paint in there. For one thing, too, I want to make it clear that wasn't a bluff on that side as well. That we weren't doing a bay, we were doing the ocean. Okay, I had purple in there, which was not what I intended, but I don't know that it's that bad. I think it could be okay as a little cloud in there, as long as it's clearly not another bluff. One bluff is enough for anybody. Okay, now this other little side here, right there, see if we can drop a tiny bit of paint in there. It's just got a tiny little error. Some things are happy accidents and some things are just wrong. And the wisdom is knowing the difference. I'm going to try and get a little more paint on this side, right in here. Just like I'm frosting a cake. Just look at it that way. I'm still not happy with this line. Just not. I don't want to work it to death. Where's that little swiper guy? I'm going to try and pull this right here, I think, or the other way. I'm going to try and pull it the other way. Got to be mindful of our time, too, that it's not starting to dry. It may be. Actually, it may be all right. Don't want to be too fussy with it. All right, let me turn it right side up and really evaluate, because I think I might be getting too fussy. You know how I get. Then I regret it. Then there's lots of tears. Okay. Try the straw again. Straw also tells me what my paint's doing, what the level is. I still, sorry, wound myself around that. I still feel like right here that could use some lighter paint. It just looks a little dark to me, right where those two areas meet. Let's see if we can get a little bit more on there. A little more of the lighter color. Okay, let's see if we can do that. Oh, I did not realize there was an obstacle there. Okay, move the obstacle and have another look at that. Sure if I have any more of this color on here, but let's try it just in case I do. Okay. It's really hard to get anything resembling a straight line along here. Paint just pulls so easy, and then it pulls up the darker color. And I got more darker color again. So I think that might be a little better. That too. I said I don't want it to go gray. Always a danger with this. then I still like the idea of that more distant bluff, and I kind of covered it up. So let me get a little more of this, maybe this color here. A little spot for it. And just maybe add that in there as that extra little distant bluff. Just sort of mix it in here. So this bluff is behind the other bluff. Okay, that's too dark. We have more of that other lighter color. Do right there. Okay, that is not too bad. Okay, it might be quit while we're ahead moment. I am, aren't I? that mother reminded me of my mother, and not in a good way. And so I don't want to think I'm too much like her. I went through a teensy bit of trauma there watching that. All right, now, do we want to put something on the bluff? Like, do we want to try and get trees, or again, I might do a little more foam underneath. I've got some foam here, which is good. Or wait until it dries and then put some things on the top if we want things on the top. Maybe we could do another little castle or something. See, I'm going to come down a tiny bit more since this one is crossways, or landscape style, if you want to be, you know, more accurate. Let's turn that. I mean, we'll put some, you know, some seagulls or something in there, of course, but how are we feeling? It feels like this part cuts off a little bit. Like, I feel like that this should kind of come out more somehow. Does it look a little, of course, you know, you got a little shadow here from I feel like it should go a little bit more evenly on that other side, but I'm not sure if I can pull that one off. But let's see. Maybe I can get it just in a couple little places where it won't look quite as lopsided the one way. I think when I tilted it got a little lopsided the other way. So I just want to try and maybe bring that back a little bit. I think that's okay. Could potentially put a couple little bits of something going on over here where it's not totally dark. That might help that as well. Okay. I still do want to put a little bit of foam. I've got some light color here that will come up. It will join us. I need to just pour more on there, which will be fine. Nothing wrong with that. Just want to make sure I don't have tons of it just sitting here and unused. Which I do apparently, right there. Let's see. I think I do want to put a little bit more like a foamy sort of line here. Oh. Okay. This still, now that to me looks almost like a very, very distant additional bluff, so I think I'm going to leave it because at least it doesn't look bad, but it still doesn't look quite, of course we could always add something later. I wanted like the light source right above that part of the water, but I seem to have more like a little, almost a little shadow bluff above it. But I suppose that's not the end of the world. There's a weird sort of dot here that doesn't really look like a rock. It just looks like a little dot. Just take that out maybe. There we go. All right, the other thing I noticed is I'd kind of like to on the sides, if we have enough paint, is where the original sides were and the new sides, it's not looking that great. Of course, we could just, we could just paint those sides. That's probably easier looking at it. I like the drippy effect on the sides, but because it had the other color beneath, it doesn't look quite right. But we could just paint the sides all purple or black or something back there. That would do. Yeah, we'll go with that. Okay, I think I'm gonna leave this, and I think we at least got a decent canvas out of it. Considering it was one that didn't work at all, I think we got something going at least. Oh, and I can see where it's starting to dry in places too. So that's probably a good move to set it aside now then. Put it over here. Make sure it's level. And I don't think it's level, so I'm going to sit here for just a second. Sitting on there. Is that sitting on there? Oh, here we go. Oh, this is just one of those things. It's still not level. Well, let me put it in a different spot. Let's try it this way then. It's going to be difficult for me. How's that level? Sort of balance there now? I think so. What is it doing that? Okay, I apologize. I'm having a little bit of trouble with it. I wonder if the canvas itself is a teensy bit warped. That's possible. Let me see if I can put it somewhere else. I do like it underneath here, but not if it's not going to be level. That would not work at all. How's that? Oh, that looks better. How about this side? Is that better? Yeah, it's definitely. Oh, I think it is. I think it must be the canvas. No, I don't want it to. Hang on. Tray out. Put it down there flat on the floor. All right, we'll do it that way now. Figure out that. I don't know if it's the canvas or the thing or what it is, but at least it's flat now and in its usual spot. Phew. All right, let's get that cleaned up. Well, you guys, I'm glad at least we got back on the horse and did something decent with that today. Wasn't too messy, went pretty smoothly. We'll see how it dries. It's kind of fun for me. I miss the ocean. We've been having some issues with warnings at the ocean about the sudden tides and stuff because our oceans here in Oregon are not the same as what I was used to in California. And one difference is that it, I found the cap I was missing. Oh, how joyous is that? Like the sand is always like kind of wet and packed because the tide comes in and stuff, and it comes in all the way. Like in California, you had beaches that were always beaches. These are not that. And so they've been having warnings about, I don't know what they call them, but basically like sudden tides. You be on the beach, tide just races in there. So they've been having warnings for that, and and it is a further drive, and we haven't been feeling that well. And then if it's snowing, you've got to go over the pass. So anyway, long story short, too late. I have not been going, I have not gone to the ocean lately, and I miss it. So it was nice to do a seascape and kind of think about the ocean for a bit. Had a swiper in there, 2 swipers in there. Let's get those out of there. I'm going to throw this one away. Anyway, thank you all so much for coming. And seeing me semi-redeem myself now. Phew, right? And hopefully I'll see you all soon, and we'll either start something new or, you know, maybe finish up some of these ones. I got a little stalled on a couple of them. I got a little perplexed. But anyway, we got that cap had fallen in the side here and was stuck there, so I now have all my caps. So yay. And I will see you all soon. On that high note, I will see you all soon. Bye-bye.